Hey, it's Greg with Auto Sausage, where we grind together automotive awesomeness. So first, I want to congratulate our winner for the Auto Sausage Auction Game Week number 5. Congratulations to M Hicks 17. M Hicks, I do know for a fact, is a 10th grader in Florida, which is extremely impressive. So you've won 4 tickets to the Cincinnati Concours d'Elegance. Thank you for playing. If you go to www.autosausage.com, and if you're a visual person, you can look at this on YouTube, our YouTube channel, you will see that our next Auto Sausage game coming up is RM Sotheby's Auburn auction, May 29th through June the 1st. So it's up now live. You can go play, guess what 5 cars are going to sell for, and you can win, I think it's $100, yeah, right here, $100 worth of Tillamook beef jerky. So good stuff, teriyaki beef jerky, sea salt and cracked pepper, all sorts of good stuff. So be sure to check it out. Just a little peek of what 5 cars we're going to have on the docket there. We've got a 1967 Stingray 427 convertible, a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, 1994 Toyota Supra Twin Turbo Targa, which will be really interesting because one of those just sold for $192,000 freaking dollars. We have a 2007 Noble, which is a British kind of supercar. And the 5th car we have is about the ugliest 1965 Shelby Cobra I've ever seen, and mostly because of the wheels. So you'll have to check it out and see if you really might agree or disagree with me on that, because normally Cobras are gorgeous. For some reason, the wheels on this one just make it look totally horrendous. So anyways, this last week at Mecum, Indianapolis was pretty chaotic. The 5 cars that we reviewed were pretty interesting and depressing. So I'm going to pop over here to the Auto Sausage Auction Game results, which are on my website. So like I said before, M Hicks 17 won, which is kind of funny because he did a great job guessing on the first car, 1974 Porsche 911 race car. But what was interesting is he was way over on by over $1 million on one of the Cobras, but then he was way under $1 million on a Hemi. So let's talk about these a little bit. So the first car was a 1974 Porsche 911 race car driven by Paul Newman. Now I thought it would sell for $650,000. The reserve was $450,000 to $550,000, and I thought it would overachieve because of the Paul Newman effect. There was a Rolex that recently sold for $18 million that was once owned by Paul Newman, and the last Porsche that he drove sold for $4.5 million. So I thought the estimation of $500,000 approximately was a little low, and I was way off to say the least. This car only was bidded to $160,000. It did not get anywhere close to the minimum reserve price. Now what's interesting is I knew about this car a few years ago. I met the owner. I tried to help him sell it for an exorbitant price, and he unfortunately passed away. So I did talk to his restoration expert who was there on site, Roy, and I do want to call him afterwards to see what happened, what his thoughts were on why this car did not sell. Horrible job. So there's a lot of interesting things going on with muscle cars in particular, but Porsches seem to be coming down off that high from a few years ago. The second car was a 1965 Shelby Factory Stage 3 289 Cobra Dragon Snake. Now, I thought it would go for $1.65 million, which was just above the low estimate. I thought it was, going to hit the low estimate but not go through the moon or anything like that. Well, this also was a no sale at $1.4 million. So it seems like muscle car prices are declining, even on Cobras a little bit, and this was an immaculate Cobra. It was yellow, so maybe yellow affected it a little bit. Not 100% sure on that. And let's see, the next car was a 1963 Cheetah race car. Now this is one I spoke specifically about in a previous podcast because I actually found this car in Cincinnati, quote unquote found, because I never actually saw it with my own eyes. And I said that this thing hit the big number on the last auction. The last auction it sold for over $700,000. That was all the money in the world. There was only, one car at one auction, so that was the max. So I thought it would go low. I thought it would go for $560,000. Well, this thing did not even reach its minimum. It hit, let's see, what did it hit? It hit $250,000 no sale. So Well, what's interesting is when I was at Mecum on Saturday, it did show up as being sold, but online right now, it is showing that the bid goes on at $250,000, which is really sad because it should have sold between $500 and $750. So the next car was a 1982 Pantera. Now this was an interesting car. This was actually a steal. This one did sell, and this was another one, the same guy that had the Porsche that passed away. And I took some videos and I posted it online, showing it was like probably a 3- grade, but it's got all original. It's got a custom paint job. Well, this one sold for $41,000, and it was, or 45. Was it 41 or 45? Anyways, this one, the estimate was $80 to $100,000. So someone got a screaming deal on this. The only thing I can guess is that the children of guy who passed away who owned this car, it sold for $45,100. They just decided to cut it loose. So they really got beat up on the Porsche. The Porsche actually went up for sale after the Pantera. The Pantera, they cut it loose, said, all right, that's 45 grand, that's close enough. So it sold, but it was way under estimate. So right now, if you're keeping track, 4 of the 5 cars either were no sales or sold underneath the estimate. Now the 5th car was the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible. Let's see if I can speak English today. And this one, it did actually sell. It actually sold within its estimate. It says call for estimate, but it sold for, I said it would sell for $1.75 million, and it actually sold for $1.8 million. But when you factor in the buyer's premium, it's $1.98 million. So anyways, that one did actually sell. So I'll go a little bit deeper dive on a couple other cars that were interesting there. There was a 1965 Shelby GT350 that was not even the correct engine. So it's about a $300,000 car. It was a no sale at $450,000. I don't know what was going on there. If you're on the website right now, you can see the other auction games that are coming up. We have Mecum in Portland coming up June 21st to the 22nd. I've got about $71 worth of cool stuff for your car or workbench. So cool stuff coming up. The other car that I do want to do a little deep dive on, I want to do a deep dive on the 4 cars that were part, I thought there was a picture here, the 4 Cobras that were part of the Steve Julian Auto collection. I think 2 of them did sell, but 2 of them did not sell. And then I also want to do a deep dive on this one, the Amos Minter Thunderbird collection. So this was 14 Thunderbirds that went up for sale at one time. He's a Corvette restoration expert, so they were all immaculate cars. And of those 14, 9 of them were F-Birds, and that's not a typo. F-Birds was a special option where it had more horsepower. I think it was dual quad or supercharged. So of these 14 cars, they're gorgeous, beautiful cars. Only 7 of them, half of them, sold. The other half did not. So I'm going to kind of align what they should have sold for based on the Haggerty price guide with what they actually sold for or what they were bidded to. And we'll have that on a future episode. A little bit more of a deep dive going on there. So thanks again for joining us. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the automotive world. Please be sure to stay tuned. I will do a deep dive on the 5 cars for the next auto sausage auction game coming up, which will be the RM Sotheby auction in Auburn, May 29th through June 1st. So that is it. We will talk to you all next week.